Here's one thing you haven't heard on Fox News or from Fat Donnie's box of little boys. Why is no one talking about Trump stepping down?
We're all aware of how he's doing. Our country has watched our president lead. And yes, we've also seen the fact that he's 10 years older than he was 10 years ago. But unlike Republicans, right, who in Trump's personality cult will take a look at Donald Trump and say he's perfectly fine, even though he seemed unable to tell the difference between Nikki Haley and Nancy Pelosi, even though he's rambling about electrocuting sharks and Hannibal Lecter, even though he is clearly older and stranger than he was when America first got to know him. They say he's strong as an ox, leaps tall buildings in a single bound. Well, we don't have that kind of warped reality on our side. Well, on the contrary, the president confronted that reality in what must have been one of the most difficult decisions for an American president to make ever. And he did something that I don't think Donald Trump could even conceive of doing, which is putting his own interests aside for the country.
Nobody does that better than Pete Buttigieg, destroying Fox reporters trying to toe the MAGA line. It's a weird cocktail of fear and cowardice from this posse of so-called patriots, mixed in with 2 parts stupid.
Indictable.
But Buttigieg doesn't have enough hours in the day to reveal how dark and twisted these so-called men have become.
Tens of millions of Americans suspect this election was stolen from them.
Remember when Ted Cruz said this about Trump after Trump called his wife a dog?
And he begins trying to be a bully. So last night, Donald threatened my wife.
Then Cruz did this.
I'm proud to have worked hand in hand with President Trump.
Who are these men? Men that would throw their wives and families under the bus for the opportunity to purse their lips against Trump's sphincter?
That is crazy!
But this one might be the absolute worst. Republicans are already doubting the wisdom of Hillbilly Vance as their VP-to-be, as he and Hawley share the same spine. You see, J.D. Vance is married to a woman from India and has had to listen to white supremacists attack her and their children. But then Nick Fuentes, Trump's friend, went all in on white supremacy, attacking his wife.
J.D. Vance also has a non-white wife, an Indian wife, and a kid named Vivek. All his kids have Indian names. So it's like, what exactly are we getting here? And that's not a dig at him just because I'm a racist or something. But it's like, who is this guy really? Do we really expect that the guy who has an Indian wife and named their kid Vivek is going to support white identity? Like, there's a white genocide going on in the world.
Wow. Now, if someone said that about your family or your wife, is there any job or anything that would mean more to you than standing up and telling these racist lapdogs to go f themselves? Here's Vance's response.
Look, I love my wife so much. I love her because she's who she is. Obviously, she's not a white person, and we've been attacked by some white supremacists over that. But I love Usha. She's such a good mom.
That's it? You love her because she's a good mom? You don't say anything about Fuentes? You won't confront the thick vein of racism in the MAGA Trump world? I mean, you used to.
I can't stomach Trump. I think that he's noxious and is leading the white working class to a very dark place.
You know, I almost feel sorry for J.D. Vance. Most people don't have their cowardice on display before hundreds of millions of people. But that's you, I guess.
I'm a never Trump guy.
It's just a basic fact.
Yeah, but it's too late, J.D. Trump owns you. Fat Donnie tapped into the deep culture of racism in America and drew from it like a poison well.
Discriminating against and denigrating, just denigrating white people.
Trump's got to get in there and never leave.
I mean, this guy? I mean, this is your guy? Maybe not all Trump supporters are racist, but all racists are Trump supporters.
Hail Trump! Hail our people! Hail victory!
He's not even trying to hide what he wants to do.
She was a bum. Now they're trying to say she never was the border czar. She had nothing to do with the border. She was the border czar.
Yeah, czar is a Russian word, you cockwaffle. We don't have czars or kings. And guess what? Under Biden, the same people came across the border as during Fat Donnie's 4 years. Only Biden didn't separate families and put them in cages. But go ahead, wounded ear.
You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I love you. Get out. You got to get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good you're not going to have to vote.
Yeah, you heard that. Trump would end voting if he could. Does anyone doubt that? I mean, he's a psychopath. But what does that say about the people who would nod their heads and go along? Like Christians. Oh yeah, Christians, he loves you. You know, when he's not raping women or lying or stealing or subverting the Constitution. He loved you long time, you ignorant puddle of bum.
You mentioned the Bible. You've been talking about how it's your favorite book.
and you said, I think last night in Iowa, some people are surprised that you say that. I'm wondering what one or two of your most favored Bible verses are and why.
I wouldn't want to get into it because to me that's very personal. You know, when I talk about the Bible, it's very personal, so I don't want to get into verses. I don't want to get into...
There's no verse that means a lot to you that you think about or cite?
The Bible means a lot to me, but I don't want to get into specifics.
Even to cite a verse that you like?
No, I don't want to do that.
You're an Old Testament guy or a New Testament guy?
Probably equal. I think it's just an incredible... The whole Bible is an incredible... I joke very much so. They always hold up the Art of the Deal. I say my second favorite book of all time.
But here's the rub. I can play you examples of Trump's mental breakdown, and I have. But the real obscenity, it's these so-called Americans who support this indefensible attack on, well, everything. Everything that once made this country the beacon of light in the free world. We're not perfect, but the road Trump is headed down would turn us into, ironically, all of the things both parties once proudly stood against. Stealing from universities and charities, lying tens of thousands of times, calling our dead soldiers suckers and losers, sending supporters to try and orchestrate a coup. But it's even worse than that.
The woman who successfully sued former President Donald Trump for sexual abuse was up early today. E. Jean Carroll made the rounds on morning TV, saying she feels vindicated after years of Trump defaming her.
I have absolutely no idea who this woman is. The verdict is a disgrace. A jury from an anti-Trump area.
Trump has proven that he believes what he said 10 years ago.
Where I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay?
His supporters will back anything he says or does, including molesting children and raping women. But I know what you're thinking. That's a Democrat talking. Democrats lie, fake news. If only you had a MAGA voice.
Trump is a sexual predator.
She knows it, all of it.
Come on in, go inside.
An invitation into Donald Trump's world. Footage from 1992 found in the NBC archives shows the future president welcoming Jeffrey Epstein to his Mar-a-Lago estate. The get-together more than a decade before Epstein pleaded guilty to prostitution charges in Florida. Both men are seen enjoying themselves. Trump pointing out women.
Buttigieg didn't bring up Trump's sexual assault and time with Epstein because it's almost too difficult to believe, even when Trump says it out loud.
ET discovered this footage in our archive, which we provided to CBS News.
Soon. Thursday night. You're going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Can you believe it?
Then in the Trump rape trial, where Trump was found liable for raping Jean Carroll to the tune of $100 million, Trump said in the deposition that she wasn't his type. You know, he has a type he rapes.
And you know it's not true too. You're a political operative also. You're a disgrace. She's not my type.
And Trump has somehow enlisted hundreds of thousands of evangelicals into his campaign.
My beautiful Christians, I love you.
Which either means that the evangelicals see someone worthy of redemption, or these snake oil salesmen are exactly as advertised. Trump and his pack of ignorant wife beaters profess to be Christians, but here's Dairy Queen's tweet about Kamala Harris. Pretty Christian, huh? But my anger is tempered by the fact that Marjorie Taylor Greene might be the most ignorant twit I've ever seen, and her disparaging Harris is not even worth anyone's time. But I will say this, when anyone, even this pig in a blanket, goes after women and children with these invectives, I burn a little inside. I'm not a violent person, mostly, and I truly wish that 20-year-old Republican boy hadn't shot his rifle, which hit some glass, not an ear, and caused baby Donnie to have a boo-boo. But I will not, and I know I'm not alone, stand by while Frogface and her intellectually challenged puddle of grunt attack the people I care about. I stand with Americans who stand with our country, and we've had enough. Enough of you and enough of this.
Because you'll never take back our country with weakness.
We will defeat this diaper-clad rapist traitor and take care of him for good. And MAGA, when we're done, then what? Well, let me ask you this. Do you have a passport?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Damn right. Trust me.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Who's with me? Oh, yeah, the lie.
Indictable.
Out of sheer morbid curiosity, I'm allowing this freak show to continue.
This isn't their Republican Party anymore.
I don't want to talk about this stuff.
Am I wrong?
Yeah, right.
Tick-tock.
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
I think he's crazy.
I'm Chip Franklin.